Aki is clearly Chainsaw Man's best boy. He was voted third best character in the first popularity poll, he was voted number 1 in the second poll, and almost everyone thinks he's the best written character in Chainsaw Man. And rightfully so. While Aki isn't my personal favorite, there's a lot to like about his character. He's basically the only character with any real moral conviction, and low-key has some of the best devils. But there's just one little problem I have with him. Aki is a miserable human being. Aki has his tragic backstory, which is fine, and he has his whole revenge thing, also fine. But it leads Aki to act as if he's better than everyone else. Like, if you're not someone that he views as serious, then he treats you like garbage, and there's no middle ground. Like, look at how he treats Denji when they meet. All he knows about Denji is whatever Makima told him, so he knows he's some kind of rookie from the streets. Whatever. But here's how he treats Denji on this one thing he knows about him. He calls him a thug and beats the shit out of him. Doesn't know who he is, where he's from, what Denji's tragic backstory is. Like, that's part of my problem. Aki has his tragic backstory and just assumes he's better than people. Never once was he like, oh, this guy's working as a devil hunter, he's probably got emotional baggage like I do. Nope, just immediately takes the guy in an alley, beats him up, and treats him like a piece of shit. And I know people will defend what Aki did. They'll say he only did it to make sure Denji was serious about the job, or he wanted to scare him away because he's so nice and he doesn't want to see him throw his life away killing devils. Even if we believe that story, did he really need to flick a cigarette at Denji and spit on him? The crazy thing is I'm actually not for or against these revenge trope type characters. Not Sasuke though. That dude is like the edgelord poster boy of Hot Topic and Linkin Park. I was actually thinking about how Aki and Kurapika have similar backgrounds. So then I was like, okay, why do I like it with Kurapika and not Aki? And I guess the only real difference is that Kurapika knows how to turn it off. Like, Kurapika can be just as edgy as the rest of them, but he also knows how to be smart and charming and just an all-around pleasant human being. Plus, while Kurapika chases after the Phantom Troop because he thinks it's the right thing to do, he's not the one literally claiming to be an agent of social justice. I will admit Aki is better than Sasuke, and he's actually pretty chill when he wants to be. But the problem for me is that this whole revenge shtick is like his whole thing. Like, there's this one character who meets Aki and immediately figures out that he's like the main character of a manga. Well, not this manga, but you get what I mean. Aki's moral conviction and tragic past lead him to be this overly serious person. Because of that, he will treat you like garbage unless you conform to his ideals. And the irony is that Aki assumes everyone else has these dumb, simple motivations. But Aki's obsession with revenge makes him so basic and so predictable that even someone as dumb as Denji can read him like a book. Now, I can say and feel this way about Aki, but the reality is that he is still a fan favorite, even among characters like Makima, Power, and Denji. And like I said, there is a very good reason for why this is the case. While I find Aki's attitude to be painfully annoying, I also think that he's an irreplaceable member of the cast. Like, as much as I hate how he looks down on people, I can't help but feel like Chainsaw Man would feel pointless without him. Like, think about who we're dealing with in these first few volumes. Makima is a master manipulator and openly treats people like tools. Denji and Power, they're just doing whatever. And Himeno and the others are really just trying to survive. They could care less about the Gun Devil. Aki is the only one with a sense of purpose, and it's his resolve that reminds us that what the characters are doing is worthwhile. And as much as I hate how Aki views himself as morally superior, it's those morals that keep the story alive. Chainsaw Man's full of characters that are evil, irresponsible, and completely insane. And in this world where you're constantly confronted with the worst aspects of human nature, Aki is an anchor. Without someone as virtuous as Aki, Chainsaw Man would feel a lot more like Berserk. It'd feel like everyone in the world is inherently evil. But because Aki has his morals, and because those morals guide his leadership, his presence in the story makes you feel like there's always hope for these characters. It makes you feel like everything isn't a lost cause. Now, before I explain the other upside to Aki's morals, make sure to like the video if you're enjoying it so far. It's the easiest way to support the channel, and it helps spread the video to other viewers like you. But like I was saying, the sense of purpose Aki gives us isn't even the best part about his ideals. The best part is how it makes him an emotional character. At one point in the story, we see Denji confused as to why he doesn't feel anything when someone he knows dies. But Aki is the complete opposite. We learn from Himeno that Aki cries whenever someone dies, even if it's the people he treats like human garbage. Part of this is because of his strong sense of right and wrong. If someone does something wrong, then Aki is compelled to right that wrong. And when someone he knows is wronged, it bothers Aki in a very vulnerable way. But part of this, I think, goes back to his past. Aki was the older brother, and he couldn't protect his family. Because of that trauma, Aki's perception of himself as the big brother never really left him. He's always the one taking charge and trying to protect people. While it's annoying to see him force his ideals onto others, I honestly think it comes from a place of love. When Aki yells at Power and Denji to flush the toilet and brush their teeth, he's doing it because he's trying to teach them how they're supposed to behave. When he does his adorable little gum experiment, it's because he's trying to teach them how to be somewhat civil. And the crazy thing is that his relationship with Power and Denji has the same arc as the one with his brother. We see in the flashback that Aki is initially mean to his little brother. He calls him annoying and even throws snowballs at him. But when his brother still wants to play with him, Aki actually starts to be nice. Just like how Aki is initially rude to Power and Denji before he starts to look out for them, Aki bullies his little brother before he can show this desire to be his friend. We even see him treat him like a little brother, someone he wants to look after and play with. And that's the one thing I do have to point out about Aki. There's a reason Aki is the big brother and not the dad. Big brothers might be bossy, but they also know how to have fun. Aki has his whole revenge thing, but he really is a chill dude. In the Volume 2 extra comic, he tries, and also fails, to get Denji and Power into coffee. Later in the story, he puts gum in some girl's hair because she hit Himeno, and he even joins Denji in a nutshot contest. So as much as Aki's moral superiority can be irritating, it's what makes him a likable character and the only person in the story who isn't completely unhinged. But in a world like Chainsaw Man, that's kind of a setback. Devil hunters either die young or live long enough to turn into disillusioned alcoholics like Kishibe. To survive as a devil hunter, you either need to be completely insane or a cold-blooded murderer, which is what Aki aims for in his quest for revenge. But at the same time, he still has these strong emotions. He still cries for people and tries to protect them even though they're probably gonna die. Fortunately, this leads to a massive payoff for readers. Ask anyone what their favorite part about Aki is, and odds are it's going to be something about how he's the most tragic character. And it's true, everything about Aki is tragic. He has these strong morals in a random world that doesn't care who lives and dies. He prides himself on being disciplined, despite the fact that he's surrounded by children, which even includes Himeno, who randomly stole some of Aki's hair just because she felt like it. And on top of all that, his quest for revenge is tragic. While you watch Aki try and justify his actions, and try to give meaning to the deaths of those he cares about, you slowly realize that all of his efforts only work to destroy him. It's sad to watch, but it makes his character arc extremely rewarding. As you follow Aki throughout the story, you find yourself more and more invested in his character. And in the later parts of the story, you can even find yourself crying for Aki just like he cries for the people around him, which is exactly why people love him. Despite all the shit he does and despite the way he treats people, Aki is a tragic character in a world with no inherent meaning. He tries to give meaning to the world around him and only suffers because of it. It makes him feel more human than most of the other characters, and it's why he's the best boy of Chainsaw Man. But here's where I'd like your input. Is Aki really the best boy of Chainsaw Man, or is he just a Sasuke wannabe? Share your thoughts and see what everyone else has to say down in the comments. I'll pick my favorite and share it as comment of the week on my community tab. Now, if you'd like another Chainsaw Man discussion like this one, then you have to check out my recent video on Power. In it, I explain why Power is Chainsaw Man's best girl, even though she's a terrible person. You can find it in the playlist linked right here. Until then, thank you for watching, and I hope to hear from you soon.